Have you ever felt like you're being pulled between the love of your life and the family that raised you? It's like I'm stuck in this impossible tug of war, where each side is pulling harder every day. My partner, who means the world to me, has been avoiding spending time with my family, and it's starting to feel like they're worlds apart. I can't help but wonder, is this a sign of deeper issues, or am I just overthinking it all? Stay with me as I unravel the complexities of this emotional divide. I'm Alex, a 29-year-old graphic designer living in Chicago. I've been with my partner Jamie for 4 years now, and we moved in together last year. Our relationship has always been strong, filled with mutual respect and understanding. But recently, there's been a noticeable shift. My family has always been close-knit. We gather for Sunday dinners, celebrate birthdays with enthusiasm, and even have a few quirky traditions that might seem odd to outsiders but are dear to us. Jamie was initially enthusiastic about these gatherings, joining in with a warm smile and a helping hand. However, over the past 6 months, I've noticed a change. Jamie has started making excuses to skip family events, citing work stress or needing personal time. At first, I thought it was just a phase. After all, we all get overwhelmed sometimes, right? But as weeks turned into months and the excuses piled up, I began to worry. My family started asking questions, their concern evident, which only added to my stress. My mind was a flurry of questions. Was Jamie uncomfortable with my family? Did something happen that I'm unaware of? Or was this simply a sign of our evolving relationship dynamics? These thoughts plagued me, turning into an undercurrent of anxiety that I couldn't shake off. I wanted to understand Jamie's perspective without making them feel pressured or judged, but the uncertainty of it all left me feeling lost. As the situation dragged on, I knew I had to confront it, for the sake of my relationship and my peace of mind. As time went on, Jamie's absence at family gatherings became more pronounced. Initially, I tried to cover for them, explaining away their absence to my family, but even that became increasingly difficult. The tension was palpable during our family dinners, with an empty seat at the table serving as a constant reminder of the growing distance between two important parts of my life. The turning point came when my younger sister announced her engagement. This was meant to be a joyous occasion, celebrated with laughter and shared excitement. My sister, who had always been fond of Jamie, specifically requested their presence at the engagement party. I knew this was an event Jamie couldn't miss without it raising eyebrows, yet, when I brought it up, Jamie hesitated. "I just don't think I can handle it," they said, their voice tinged with an exhaustion I hadn't noticed before. I was taken aback by the firmness in their tone. It was the first time Jamie's reluctance felt less like avoidance and more like a plea for understanding. The engagement party was a blur. Jamie's absence was conspicuous, and it weighed heavily on me. As I navigated through congratulatory hugs and cheerful toasts, I felt a growing sense of isolation. My family's subtle questions about Jamie's whereabouts only intensified my internal conflict. I found myself oscillating between defending Jamie and questioning what had changed between us. Then came the curveball that none of us had anticipated. Jamie had been experiencing burnout at work, and it had reached a critical point. They confided in me one evening, admitting to sleepless nights and mounting anxiety that they had been trying to manage alone. Their work had become all-consuming, leaving little room for anything else, including my family events. Understanding dawned on me, but it came with a heavy burden of guilt. How had I missed the signs? Why hadn't I seen the stress etched on Jamie's face? This revelation added a new layer to the situation, shifting the problem from a perceived rift between Jamie and my family to a more complex web of personal and professional strain. The reality of Jamie's struggles was a harsh wake-up call. It was no longer just about missed dinners or skipped parties. It was about Jamie's well-being and our ability to support each other through life's challenges. I felt a mix of fear for Jamie's health, frustration at the miscommunication, and confusion about how to move forward. The complexity of the issue loomed large, leaving me more determined than ever to find a path through the tangled emotions and strained relationships. Determined to address the situation, I knew that open communication with Jamie was crucial. I initiated a heartfelt conversation, emphasizing my support and willingness to understand their struggles. We spent an evening discussing the pressures of their job and how it had drained their energy and enthusiasm for social interactions, especially those involving my family. To help alleviate Jamie's stress, I suggested we prioritize our weekends for relaxation and self-care, occasionally skipping family events to recharge. However, I also expressed the importance of attending key family gatherings to maintain those relationships. Jamie appreciated the compromise, and it felt like we were making progress. I also sought advice from a close friend who had experienced similar issues in their relationship. They recommended couples therapy as a means to improve communication and mutual understanding. Jamie was initially hesitant about the idea, fearing it would highlight our problems rather than solve them. But after some reflection, they agreed to give it a try. Therapy sessions opened up new avenues for dialogue and understanding. We learned to navigate our individual stresses and support each other more effectively. It seemed like we were on a path to resolving the tension, and I felt hopeful. However, just as things were beginning to stabilize, the second curveball hit. Jamie's company announced a major restructuring, leading to job insecurity. The uncertainty about their future employment reignited Jamie's anxiety, overshadowing the progress we had made. The fear of potential job loss added a new layer of stress to an already delicate situation. This unexpected development tested our newfound communication skills. Jamie became more withdrawn, and their reluctance to engage with my family grew stronger, fueled by the fear of judgment and the need to conserve energy for navigating their work situation. I found myself at a crossroads, balancing empathy for Jamie's predicament with the frustration of being unable to bridge the gap between them and my family. Despite the obstacles, I remained committed to finding a solution. The experience taught me the importance of patience and the understanding that not every problem has a quick fix. In this journey, I learned that relationships require constant effort and adaptation, especially in the face of unexpected challenges. It was clear that our relationship's future depended on our ability to weather these storms together, without losing sight of the love that bound us. The ongoing situation with Jamie has taken a significant toll on me emotionally and mentally. It's as though I'm constantly walking on a tightrope, trying to maintain balance between supporting Jamie and staying connected with my family. This dual responsibility has been exhausting, leaving me feeling isolated and overwhelmed. Socially, I've noticed a shift in my interactions with others. Friends who used to see me as upbeat and easygoing now sense my distracted demeanor. Conversations often feel strained, as my mind is perpetually preoccupied with the tension between Jamie and my family. I find myself declining invitations, unable to muster the energy for social outings, which only adds to my sense of isolation. At home, the atmosphere is often tense. Small arguments with Jamie have become more frequent, usually sparked by misunderstandings or unspoken frustrations. Even in our quiet moments, there's an underlying tension that neither of us can seem to shake. I miss the ease and laughter that used to define our relationship, and the distance between us feels like an ever-present shadow. The stress has seeped into my work life as well. My focus and creativity, which are crucial for my role as a graphic designer, have been compromised. Projects take longer to complete, and the quality isn't up to my usual standards. I worry about how this might impact my career, adding another layer to my already heavy burden. Internally, I'm caught in a cycle of guilt and self-doubt. I question if I've done enough to support Jamie, or if I've neglected my family in the process. There's a pervasive sense of hopelessness, as if no matter what I do, someone will be left disappointed. The weight of these conflicting emotions is heavy, and there are days when I feel like I'm barely holding it together. Despite these challenges, there's a part of me that clings to hope. I know that Jamie and I share a deep bond, and I believe that our relationship can withstand this storm. But the path to resolution feels uncertain, and I'm struggling to see a way forward that honors both my love for Jamie and my commitment to my family. This experience has underscored the importance of resilience and empathy, both for Jamie and for myself. It's a reminder that life is rarely straightforward, and that navigating its complexities requires patience, understanding, and above all, love. As the weeks turned into months with no clear resolution in sight, I found myself contemplating measures I never thought I'd consider. Despite the therapy and open communication, the tension between Jamie, my family, and our personal struggles persisted. The weight of it all felt like an anchor dragging me down, and I began to question if more drastic steps were necessary to find peace. The idea of taking a break from our relationship crossed my mind. It wasn't a decision I took lightly, considering the years we've spent building our lives together. But the constant stress and unresolved issues made me wonder if some distance might offer clarity. The thought of separation, even temporarily, was terrifying. I feared what it might mean for us, the potential of losing Jamie, and how it would impact both our lives. Another option I considered was altering our lifestyle significantly, perhaps moving to a quieter area, away from the pressures of city life and my family's expectations, might provide the respite we both needed. However, the logistics and financial implications of such a move were daunting, not to mention the emotional cost of distancing myself from my family. The prospect of these drastic measures filled me with doubt and fear. I worried about the long-term consequences on our relationship and the social stigma that might accompany such choices. Would taking a break damage our bond irreparably? Would moving away create an even bigger rift between me and my family? As I weighed these options, I felt torn. On one hand, taking decisive action could lead to a solution, yet on the other, the fear of making the wrong choice loomed large. The uncertainty of the future was paralyzing, and I found myself caught in a cycle of indecision, afraid to move forward, yet unable to remain stuck in the current turmoil. Ultimately, I realized that whatever path I chose, it would require courage and a willingness to embrace change. The thought of what those changes might bring was daunting, but deep down, I hoped it might also pave the way for healing and growth. After everything, I find myself at a crossroads, burdened by the weight of decisions yet to be made. The journey with Jamie has been a roller coaster of emotions, filled with moments of love, frustration, and self-discovery. We faced challenges that have tested our relationship in ways I never anticipated, and through it all, I've learned the importance of resilience, communication, and empathy. Yet despite our efforts, the tension between Jamie and my family persists, compounded by external stresses that seem beyond our control. I'm caught in a web of indecision, unsure whether to take drastic measures or continue seeking a resolution through patience and understanding. The fear of making the wrong choice looms large, and the uncertainty of our future weighs heavily on my heart. So I'm turning to you, the community, in the hopes that someone might offer guidance or share similar experiences. Have any of you navigated a similar situation? How did you manage to balance the needs of your partner with those of your family? What steps did you take when faced with a seemingly impossible choice? I understand there might not be a straightforward solution, but any advice or perspective would be immensely valuable. At this point, I'm open to new ideas and hoping to find clarity in this tangled mess of emotions and relationships. Even if no clear answer emerges, just knowing that others have walked this path and come out the other side would be a comforting reminder that I am not alone in this struggle.